Is cancel culture ever positive in your opinion? Are there any positives that can come out of cancel culture? Any good?
Nothing positive can come from trying to repress the free exchange of ideas. I don't think anything positive can come of that. You could say some decent people were involved, but it easily becomes corrupted in our society. So let's just be concrete. I hate speaking in abstractions because it's not very useful. The Black Lives Matter movement, it started out as a very positive movement. I was the oldest one by far, in any of the demonstrations for a simple reason. Well, there were two reasons. The main reason was obvious, was COVID. When the Black Lives Matter demonstrations began, you couldn't see a person over 30 in the demonstrations. You really couldn't. I mean, I was there every night. I went to the ones at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, down by Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. They would meet every night. I was there every night until it became quite obvious, like the kind of unofficial organizers, "Are you back again?" No. And I said, "Yeah, I'm coming every night," you know. Originally, the original impetus, it was positive. And there was real potential in it. There was real potential because it was the first concrete manifestation of blacks and whites struggling together, not with the whites being kind of doing a good deed, do-gooders. These were white kids who were just doing a tiny bit better than blacks in our society. You know, they live in 3 or 4 to a apartment. They all have dead-end jobs. They're all basically in retail, hospitality, as it's called. You know, basically the same thing, black and white. So there was a real potential for it. Unfortunately, that potential, either consciously or wittingly or unwittingly, consciously or unconsciously, it was sabotaged. And by the end, it degenerated into silly things like bringing down statues, defacing murals, and things like that. And the other aspect of the cancel culture, which we have to be honest about, see, the ruling class now has so much money, it's like breathtaking. I'll give you an example. Everything will come together, don't worry, I know it seems like I'm meandering, but I'm not. When I was growing up, there was a TV show called The Millionaire. And the premise, it was a drama every week, and the premise was very simple. There was a very rich man, I think his name was John Ferris Tipton, that's my memory. And you never saw him in the show. You never saw him in the show. He had a designated secretary. And the secretary would look around for a nice, simple person like yourself, a nice guy who does good in the world. And at the end of the show, he opens up a folder and gives the person a check for $1 million. And you can't imagine what $1 million meant back then. It meant that you were now
secure.
No, more than secure. You were living in paradise. You were in paradise. So now, take a person like Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, what's his name?
Elon Musk.
Do you know this guy Van Jones?
Yeah, Van Jones, the journalist with the glasses.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, he gives Van Jones $100 million.
Oh yeah, for him to be an anchor for something. What was it for?
For being Van Jones. Then he gives Obama $100 million. Do you understand that? Why does Bezos do that? These are life insurance policies. Bezos knows at some point Amazon workers are going to start organizing.
Gotcha.
So he wants to line up his ducks. Do you think now Obama will criticize Bezos if there's an Amazon strike? He got $100 million. Will he criticize him? No.
Yeah.
Will Van Jones, the journalist, will he criticize Bezos?
Urban journalist. He's a journalist for the people.
Yeah. He got $100 million. You think he's going to criticize it?
Yeah.
John Dorsey, the former head of Twitter, he gave
Oh yeah, Dorsey. Jack
Dorsey, excuse me. He gave Ibram X. Kendi $10 million. So there's a long chapter in the book on Kendi.
Ibram.
Yeah, Ibram. Yeah,
Ibram X.
Yeah.
I thought you said something else.
Okay, Ibram X. Kendi.
Yeah, sure.
So,
how to be an anti-racist.
Right, yeah. How to be a hustler, anti-racist hustler.
Yeah.
And so, the point is, you saw with the Black Lives Matter, Tamika Mallory, she was a leader of the movement.
Yeah,
before you know it, she's making commercials for Cadillac.
Is she?
Speaking at Grammys, Patrice Cullors.
Yeah, they buy real estate
homes.
Properties. Yeah,
So,
that was in the news.
The cancel culture, and it's very interesting to watch.
Yeah.
You'll never see a word report about it in the liberal press.
Mm-hmm.
Take Democracy Now! Even after it was revealed that Patrice Cullors went on a real estate buying spree, okay? They still have her on.
Gotcha.
Did they ask her anything about that? No. So there's a large element of corruption inside the cancel culture, with people making a mint off of it and effectively becoming tools of the ruling elite. They're bought off.
So that means their rhetoric is still nice and appeasing, but the actions behind the rhetoric and the interests, they've been bought out.
The rhetoric it's hollow.
It's hollow.
You know, it doesn't. You take concrete things like defund the police.
Mm-hmm.
What did that mean? What did defund the police mean? Did it mean that you're literally going to create, in the short term, a society without police, or abolish, prison abolitionism? Mm-hmm. Are we going to eliminate prisons? Is that what you're asking? Is that a concrete goal? What is it? When Martin Luther King, the civil rights movement, it said very concrete goals. We want to desegregate this bus. We want to desegregate these stores. We want the right to vote. We want to desegregate the schools. These were concrete, very easily understandable goals, comprehensive.
And effective as well, hitting the roots.
And effective, because you set a concrete goal, and it was easy to measure. Yeah. Did you achieve your goal, or did you not achieve your goal? Abolish police, abolish prisons. It just had nothing, it was just empty rhetoric. It had nothing to do with reality.
It's misguiding for the people who actually do have inspiration and enthusiasm to want to point their energies in productive, proactive ways,
That's
right?
exactly what happens.
So it works completely backwards.
Yeah, because people see, well, we didn't achieve anything, so they give up.
Yeah.
A radical movement has to set concrete goals, realizable goals, and as people see that they've achieved these goals, then they develop a sense of confidence that actually we can change things.
Momentum.
Yeah. But if you set goals which are completely unrealistic, and then people...
So it's a proxy.
Well, what happens is people give up because they don't see anything change. Right now, if there were a police killing, the equivalent of the George Floyd killing, it would not bring out people.
If somebody killed the police, you said?
No, I'm saying if the police did the same thing as what happened with George Floyd.
They did it again?
It wouldn't bring out people.
You don't think so?
It'll bring them out for one night because people have become disillusioned.
Gotcha.
They came out and they came out, they came out, nothing was achieved, and then all of these reports started to come out about how the leaders of Black Lives Matter made a mint off of it.
There was a little bit of progress, right? Chauvin himself was
Yes.
incarcerated, found guilty.
If there were mass
Sentenced.
demonstrations in the street, you could have done more than just convict Chauvin.
Yeah, you said there were not mass.
There were.
There were, yes.
Yes,
Sure.
for about 6 weeks.
And it was effective to a certain extent.
Well,
At least the
depends-
sentimentalism of it, it kind of abstractly it has an effect and impact, no?
No,
On the conscious.
I would say,
consciousness?
yes, I would say it had that impact. I agree with that, but I would say the bottom line was negative. The bottom line was people became disillusioned because they didn't see anything concrete come of it. And so once you feel disillusioned, you know the expression, once bitten, twice shy.
Wait, people I would say did see concrete results just by mere default of the percentage of police officers who end up killing somebody and get away with it. This one was mainstream international news. He was
I agree
convicted.
with that.
Say it again?
I agree with you. I never quarrel with facts.
Sounds
I
good,
agree with
but so where's the impasse? I'm still
Well,
trying to understand.
the impasse was what you said. There was momentum, and the momentum was killed by the lack of concrete goals which could have been achieved, and it was killed by the revelations of all the corruption.
Sure, okay. So we're talking about real revolution, though. What you're mentioning, the lack of goals achieved, that would be literal revolutionary change.
Not really. There were
You don't think
concrete
so?
goals. You know, an old friend of mine who works out of Newark, New Jersey, he said the key goal should be to target the super legal status of cops. You know, that cops get this 48-hour rule, that they don't have to report until 48 hours after they have committed some misdeed, so then it gives them time to go to a lawyer and
Gotcha.
work out a whole story. There are all sorts of special legal statuses, super legal status, that cops enjoy. So he said the concrete goal should be to eliminate the super legal status of cops so that they have to obey the law and are responsible to the law in the same way as everybody else. That to me was a perfectly sensible objective, goal of the movement, but it never took hold.
Well, that's very difficult as well for it to take hold, right? The police are a very strong force.
Yeah, but if they had good
In terms
leadership and honest leadership, instead of thinking that politics consists of hashtags and tweets, something positive could have happened. I can't say for certain, but it didn't.